Okay, so the question we have here is, how can I make God happy? What a wonderful question. How do I serve him? How more innocent and pure can you be? How do I make God happy? Now, there's a lot of answers that you can give for that question. And you know, the first thought I had, though, when I read this question was, how do I know that God is happy with me? Okay, it's one thing to ask, how do I do it to make God happy? But how will I know it? Maybe I'll do something and I won't know anything. Maybe I'll do a good deed and I won't suddenly wake up and feel wonderful. I'm sure this happened to a lot of people. You know, you do a good deed and someone puts you down, or someone cuts it in half, and somebody maligns what you do when you try to be good. Okay. Well, the answer, I believe, is like this. How do I make God happy? I look for things that nobody else could do in the moment. Wherever you are, whatever you're doing, whether you're at the top of, a skyscraper in Manhattan, or you're, and down in the Bowery, whether you're on the desert. We were just out in the desert today in Israel. It looked like there's nobody. A little Bedouin tent over here, a ruin of some stones over here. Wherever you are, we have to look for that deed that no one else can do. And that's how you can make God happy. Because when you seek out to do something that no one else can do, you're making yourself a messenger. You're making yourself into a vessel to deliver something special to somebody else. And you can say, well, Avraham, I'm out here in the desert. What can I do? You know what? It sounds ridiculous. But, I was raised in the 70s when they actually taught us to pick up litter off the ground. In Eretz Israel, in the Holy Land, I think it's a wonderful thing to pick up litter, because obviously it's one of those classes that everybody took off early. No, but really, look for those little things that you can do that make a difference in people's lives. And even if there's no people involved. A friend of mine once saw a guy in a wheelchair, and he just went over, and they were on the sidewalk in Jerusalem, and the guy was just sitting there in his wheelchair. And my friend just impulsively went and gave him a hug. You should have seen the look on the guy's face. That look on his face was worth any visit to heaven. Because he saw the transformation in a moment. And that's how life is really lived. Transforming little moments. So you might say, how do I make God happy? I become religious, and I do the whole Torah, and I learn the whole Gemara, and I, pray 8 hours a day. Those things will make God happy. But they're a long way off before I can get to those levels. Whereas here and now, I can make little moves to help everyone else. And this is not really a new idea. There's many books out there nowadays about this idea of transforming the moment and living in the moment. But when we attach it to the idea, my real goal is just to make the Creator happy that He created me, that seems to be worthwhile unto itself. In the old days when I was checking out New Age thought and New Age authors and speeches and talks, etc., they used to say, it's good enough reason to be good. That's a good enough reason to be good, because it's good. And I liked that when I first heard that. It's good enough reason to be good, to be good. I can keep God in the back part of my room, and, keep God in church on Sunday, keep God in temple on Friday night. But you know what? It doesn't hold up, those philosophies. Because if it was just enough good to be good, what happens when you get tested? What happens when somebody wants you to do something that's not good, or you're going to suffer? What happens when someone puts a gun to your head and says, you kill this guy or I'll kill you. You don't think that happens? Sure it does. And that's an exaggerated example, but still. The reason we have the Torah is because we need to have a collection of practices that help us answer these kinds of questions. So it is good, a good reason to be good is because you create goodness. But I need the Torah to tell me when, okay, we stop here. When someone says, deny God. When someone says, tell me there is no God or I'll shoot you, I'll say, go ahead, baby, shoot. I'm not going to deny the truth.